Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Drew on the Move. Today, I'm joined by former Clemson men's soccer player and 2023 national champion Marco Garcia. Marco, appreciate you taking the time today. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me, Drew. I'm doing well.
You were born in Vegas, but you were raised in Italy. What part of Italian culture do you think shaped you the most as a person?
So when I first moved to Italy, my grandma, she lives in Milan, so we moved there. And if you ever go to Milan, you kind of notice that people are they're a little cold up north. Um, Down south is usually where people are more open and more friendly, but um, I kind of moved to Liguria, Genova, after a couple years, I kind of lived around a neighborhood where we had a couple people from down south, and I kind of experienced more of more friendly, I guess neighborhood more so than when I was living in Milan for a couple years, and um, so I kind of feel like those people kind of helped shape me. Into you know I guess the I'm kind of like a joyful person and always like laughing and joking around with my teammates if and I mean anyone who knows me knows that I like messing around, but I mean I can also be serious when it comes down to it, but yeah, no, it's I definitely say I live more so in Genova than Milan, um because that's where I ended up growing up playing more so academy level soccer. So yeah.
I feel like the north-south parallel you talked about is kind of similar to the US as well, like very cold in our north, and then our south is more like hospitable. And because I'm from Jersey too, so I think I have a little bit of credibility to say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, definitely probably like the weather too. Up north in Milan is always raining a bit more or so, and down south they're probably just always enjoying the sun, and it kind of just I feel like that has a factor in it as well.
What's the architecture like in Milan?
Milan is definitely a lot more city. You know, uh, a lot more skyscrapers that are being built. Compared to Genova, it's night and day. I mean, Genova, and actually, I lived about 30 minutes from Genova, which is a little town in called Chiavari. That there, it's really really small city, kind of just on the beach, and it's in comparison to Milan, it's a lot different. Yeah, Milan is you know the city of fashion as well, so um, a lot different style as well in the city, and just two very opposite cities, but I enjoyed both of them, to be honest. Yeah.
Would you say Geneva is still like really nice as a
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Genova is still pretty nice. It's a lot more um, antique. Like Milan is a lot more modern, and um, if you go to Milan, you're kind of just you start seeing like technology that Genova still like doesn't have, and like the metro is a bit different. And actually, I mean, yeah, Genova doesn't even have the subway underground. Um, so yeah, I mean, Milan is just it's just almost like a whole different city. It's kind of like in comparison, like you think about you when you go to New York and compared to like going to, let's say, on the beach somewhere, maybe in Florida on the coast, kind of
Hmm.
like not like a city like Miami. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What is the culture change like going from Geneva to Clemson, both on and off the soccer field, do you think?
Um, let's say culture shift. Probably in Genova, I was kind of one of the only foreign players on the team. Because there, I mean, obviously, like I now I kind of see myself as more like half Italian, half American. But like when I first got there, I still kind of didn't speak Italian as fluently as I do now. So I was, you know, I still had that American accent. I still struggled with speaking Italian, and my teammates knew that, and they kind of saw me as like the American, and some players kind of got some like I don't know why they were like they didn't like me for it, and some players kind of just maybe were jealous that like I had that like dual citizenship or whatever, and so it's kind of like it was kind of hard to like get used to it at first, and I kind of felt like on the outsides, I'd say at first, but once I started, getting settled in after a couple years, and I started like proving myself, doing well as well. I started to enjoy my time, and definitely had a great experience out of that. But once I got to Clemson, definitely the culture here is a lot friendlier. You know, the people really do make like the place here, and I know that's like a saying, but it's true. Like, I mean, you see our team every year I've been here, we've had, I mean, almost half the team was, internationals, and there's just so much different cultures across the team, and it's really like, you know, amazing to see because everyone is really trying to learn about each other's cultures, and no one really is like getting left out, and everybody's kind of just wanting to get to know the other person truly. And it's just like the culture Mike Nunes at Clemson is truly, um, you know, honestly amazing. Like, I've never been a part of a team where, you know, it's just the love and the brotherhood is that's set is just, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about the love and the brotherhood of the team. Can you like expand on that? Is there like anything that like you guys do that you think sets you guys apart from other teams in the nation?
I think definitely it starts with keeping each other accountable, but it's more so doing it through love. We have like a fine system put in place by the players, not even by the coaches, and it's more so just to keep each other accountable. When someone calls you out, is learning to take it with your chest, and not point fingers right back at him, or call out someone else. And it's more so just learning to take criticism from a brother to another, and just to put your hand up and be like, all right, I'll do better. And it kind of goes like that on the field as well. The 2023 team, I think that was a team that was able to, you know when someone was telling you something, you're able to put your head down, listen to him, and just work hard. And I think definitely on the field that was crucial, but as well as off the field, Mike Noonan has set in the Clemson program a bunch of core values, and as well as other, I guess, goals that we set before the season, postseason goals as well. And we really take pride in like really figuring out like what these goals are, why we are putting them in place, and it's really keeping ourselves accountable to achieving these goals. And so as well with the core values, to really live by them. And so um, I just think that, yeah, this Clemson team is committed to doing that, and it always has been, and that's a key to success that many people may think, taking care of things off the field isn't as important as just focusing on the soccer piece, but that is like, the foundation to then, building more chemistry on the team, and it translates over to the soccer pitch.
When did soccer start or stop feeling like something you did and start feeling like something like that you actually were like as a person?
I definitely say once I got to probably in Italy, it started feeling like that, but especially when I got to Clemson, um, and when they recruited me, at that point I was, more so like, okay, like I just got recruited to one of the top teams in the country, college wise. Like thousands of kids are like DMing me on Instagram and TikTok when I was like I started posting some content on TikTok and stuff, and I was getting like hundreds of DMs from kids like asking me how I got this opportunity, like how they were all like you know hoping one day to achieve that, and I kind of just started seeing like from outside perspective like how big of an opportunity I'd received, and um, just like being grateful about it. And at that point, I kind of just felt like, okay, like this is like what I'm doing right now. Like I need to put full commitment and time into it, and uh, yeah, this is who I am.
Going back into that Italy career as well, you spent 6 years at, please let me know if I butchered this, Virtu Centella.
Yeah, perfect. You got that right. Yeah.
Playing elite academy ball, like ball
Mhm.
teams like Juventus, Inter, and AC Milan. What did that environment teach you about like the standards you hold for yourself?
I mean, honestly, that's kind of where I was able to kind of compare myself to some of the top players, and and the honestly, I mean, in the academy level as well as like top players at my age in Italy, and a lot of those players are playing in Serie A right now that I play against, um, and so just the fact that I was able to play with them and compete against them, and had teammates that made it to the next level, kind of just prepared me for that next step in college. And once I got to Clemson, I didn't feel like I was behind necessarily. I kind of just was able to keep my head down, keep working hard, and um, yeah, I just knew that opportunity was going to present itself.
Did you feel like a kid on a field when you had like all these Serie A players around you? Would you like fanboy, or did you feel like this is my moment, like I belong here?
Um, Definitely at first, like it was a lot more like fanboy. Like I always like once I got to the facilities and I saw like for example when we went to play Juventus, we went to their facility and um just got to see like what an incredible locker room they had and their facility and their fields, and I mean all the pictures on the walls walking in the stadium and the facility, and it was just like wow, like this is crazy. And definitely there was a bit of a fan a fan like reaction there, but I feel like that was pretty normal. Maybe a couple kids were just, head down. They acted like they didn't care, but I kind of, I kind of enjoyed the, you know, wherever I went, even with Clemson, like whenever we had an away trip, get to see, UNC Stadium, Virginia Stadium, whatever, wherever we were going, like I always loved the opportunity to just go somewhere and explore a new place and be a fan of the game in that aspect. But once it was on the field, then it was all just, I can compete with anyone and just, work hard.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like you always have to enjoy like your travel experiences. Like you can't always just be like, oh, I'm traveling like 9 hours. You have to be like, okay, like California, what a beautiful like state I'm able to be in for this game today.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna transition more into like your Clemson career now. Your freshman year, you finished third on the team in goals and became the first freshman since 1996 to record a hat trick. Um, did it feel like everything was lining up for you? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, after, well, actually, so funny story is that at the beginning of the season, I mean, pretty much I came back from a knee injury in high school. So I had just come back, say 3 months before the season started. The coaches knew that they kind of were just keeping an eye on me, but I think deep down they thought like, all right, he's probably like not going to be able to like get up to like the college game fitness um, in such a short period of time. They kind of preferred like in preseason playing a few other players over me. I didn't get as much of a chance to like showcase myself, so I kind of just had to work hard for the first month. Um, the first I think 3, 4 games, I didn't see a single minute on the field, and I was waiting patiently on the bench. I remember one of the coaches after a game telling me, um, "Yeah, Marco, like most likely you're probably gonna have to redshirt this year. Like start keeping that in mind, like just from how like things are going right now." And so, but I never let that affect me. I just used it kind of as fuel and motivation and in practice. I worked hard on the sessions after game days where the people that didn't play got a chance to play a scrimmage or whatever. And at that point I was just like, you know what, I got nothing to lose, like I'm just gonna play hard. And it eventually, like, it was paying off. The coaches noticed that I was doing well and they gave me a chance. And yeah, not after maybe 1 or 2 games I had that hat trick. And then I think a couple games after that I had my first start against UNC, where we beat them at UNC. And yeah, after that, I mean, I started getting more and more playing time, and I definitely, like you said, I thought that was a great starting point um, for my career. Yeah.
After that, you ended up missing a full 2 seasons because of the injuries. Obviously, you went through. What was the hardest part of going through that?
I mean, definitely, like you said, I after a good season as a freshman, I definitely thought, I was already, getting reached out by uh like 1 or 2 MLS teams, like scouts. They invited me to like their college like ID camps, and I kind of was like, in the back of my head, I was like, okay, if I have like a good breakout season here, like I have a chance of maybe entering the draft and pursuing my dream as a professional soccer player. That's kind of always been my dream. But um, I kind of had a setback with the ACL, the first ACL tear. I tore my ACL in preseason, going, so I was ready, excited for the new season, and I tore it during the summer, during a scrimmage. And that was a really really tough moment for me, definitely. And but I was still motivated to come back and you know train hard and do PT rehab every day, take it seriously, come back. And I think I did that a little too well, in the sense that after only like 5 6 months I was like already like I reached like 90% strength tests. Like I like passed all like the tests, all the green lights. And uh the doctors thought I was like good to go pretty much after like 6 months. Where if you know how like in Europe it works, they kind of just wait 9 to 12 months for to put you back on the field. But I mean, I was excited to go back out there. I missed it, and it was kind of unlucky. Like I felt great, uh, and literally my first session back, we were playing 11v11, and I felt great. Like I scored a goal. I was playing really well. The coaches were like, "Yeah, man, it's like it seems like you've never like gotten hurt." And I was wearing a brace, and I just got unlucky that one of my teammates just like tried to win a ball through my legs, and he put his leg in between mine, and kind of just like we got like tangled up, and he just kind of like fell on me, and just the force, he kind of just fell on top of my knee. And so I ended up tearing my ACL the first day back, and it was really tough. Definitely, you know, at that point I was pretty sad. I still like never really gave up on coming back or any of that, but definitely. Um, and I was lucky enough that, I don't know if you know Noah Bierman.
Mhm.
Um, he was one of my teammates at the time, and he actually tore his ACL a couple weeks after me the first time, and then he tore his ACL a couple of like maybe like a month later after I retore mine as well. So we kind of went through that process together of both working hard, coming back and re-injuring ourselves like one of the first sessions back. And luckily we were there for each other, like doing PT together, and that really helped. So
Can you expand a little bit on how like Noah helped you during like your recovery?
yeah, so he kind of just we were always friends, but we were never really like that close. But as soon as you know, the first time I got injured, I kind of noticed he was there, like he was there for me in the sense that he was like, "Hey, if I like need to give you a ride anywhere, like just text me," because he was one of the only freshmen with a car at the time in my class, and so he gave me a few rides here and there, and then once I started doing better and I was like able to drive again and able to walk again, then he tore his ACL, and at that point I was like, "Hey, like if you need me to drive your car, like I can drive you anywhere." So like we kind of started just helping each other out, and then we'd always be doing PT together, so we were always like doing the same exercises. The PT lady would schedule us at the same time sometimes and just make us compete with each other and stuff like that. And um, yeah, I mean, the second time we both tore ACL, I mean, that definitely brought us even closer because at that point we were just like, man, like God is just making us go through this trial together, and we're just gonna have to stick it up through, just as brothers and get through this together. So um, definitely, it was an experience that brought us closer together as brothers, and you know, uh, it definitely just helped us though ultimately, and we just knew we just had to like work hard, and it sucked at the time. We were both we never. I mean, we obviously doubted God at some point, in our time, but we ultimately never gave up, and knew that something great was going to come out of this. And so we're both hard workers, and um, yeah, I mean, he's doing great now. He's at High Point and had a great season, and I'm happy for him that he's been able to come back and stay healthy, and knock on wood, he has a great career out of this. And yeah, it's always great to see him back on the field.
That's awesome. I mean, having to go through that alone, I couldn't imagine if you would have to do that. But and having someone really close on the team being able to stick by you and be able to go through that like regiment process with you is really nice too. And
Yeah.
also, I mean, you said it yourself. You guys are very hard workers. You guys came back twice. I think you
Mhm.
definitely deserve a lot of recognition for that too. You deserve
Mhm.
like praise because you kept fighting, you keep coming back, and I mean, you're still doing stuff right now. So with coaching and just like being out there on the field still. So I mean,
Yeah,
never giving up on your passion. So
that's true. Yeah, I mean, because I definitely I came back eventually from that second ACL, and I made it to the spring finally, and I was able to play, 4 games last spring, and I was able to work my way up to starting again and playing like 80 minutes, and then one of the last sessions of the spring, I ended up feeling like a little discomfort in my knee, like as we had just finished like a tough like bike workout and a lot of fitness, and then coach made us like play a little bit, and I just got into a weird like step and felt like, but it didn't feel like the ACL. And so, but I asked Raz, our trainer, to get an MRI, and it came back that I had a little tear in the side of my meniscus, kind of like in the back as well. And they didn't think I was going to need I didn't think I was going to need a surgery or anything,
that's all good.
uh, but no, yeah. So I ended up after they saw the MRI, they saw I needed to get a pretty much a meniscus repair. So, and that was no fun because it they were saying it wasn't going to be as bad. Like, oh, they were like, probably like 8 to 12 weeks. Like you'll be back doing soccer stuff. But I think after you have three surgeries already, and this was my fourth on my right knee, it was just not as doable, to maybe if that was like the first surgery I've ever had, like, okay, maybe I would have been back in 12 weeks and I was hoping to be back for the season because at that point I got surgery in May. I was trying to come back for around September, October, but it just wasn't realistic in the end. And I kind of just had to accept that. So I told the coaches, I remember going to his office about probably midway through the season, maybe half end of the season, October, November, and going to his office and telling him like, listen, like I've been through I've been through a lot. I've been just trying to push and it's just at this point I remember I had a training session the day before or like the week before where um I was actually almost back for a game and I was on the bench for one game finally, and then the next day at practice, like, just felt again discomfort in the knee. Felt like a little like twitch or pop or whatever, but it wasn't anything serious because then I got an MRI again, and they were just like, yeah, just your meniscus is just struggling to heal, But it's not like we need to get a surgery or anything. It's just I think it's just going through, the effects of having four surgeries, and so I kind of just at that point, I kind of realized that because I was still trying to train after that, but it was hurting, and the pain was just kind of too much to deal with. And so, yeah, I mean, I kind of just made that decision for myself because I want to, like you said, still be active and be on the field and be able to train and run around with my kids when I'm older. Um, and I mean, I still haven't given up on the dream. Like, I still have eligibility. My knee is doing better now. I actually played. If Clemson played Pines of Hearts the other day. Coach needed a number for, or the other team needed a number or so because
But you hopped
they're
in?
running
No way.
they're running low on numbers, and coach called me. He's like, if you feel like you want to play, like, go ahead. And yeah, I actually hopped in for like 20 minutes, the last 20, and I felt good, and definitely like the knee still like hurts a little bit, but if that pain ever does start going down a bit more, like it is going down already, because or else I wouldn't have been able to play. But it's more like it starts getting sore after like a lot of like training, a lot of like playing, because I guess it's just not used to that endurance, right now. And so I'm just waiting to see if I can get up to that endurance again. And I'm still doing rehab and stuff with Clemson, so just kind of seeing if things get better this spring. Maybe I'll give it one more shot this fall. Whether that's here or somewhere else, we'll see. But so yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Yep.
I'm glad you got another opportunity to hop in on the Pines of Hearts game. I was actually supposed to cover it as an independent. Unfortunately, I got a little stomach bug, so I couldn't pull up. But I was just
Yeah,
gonna come and like write a little something about it for the
yeah,
little website I work for and
gotcha.
throw it up. I mean, if I saw you, I would go. Garcia spied on the field again for the first
Yeah,
time in a
yeah.
while. But speaking of being off the field now, who were you when you couldn't be Marco the soccer player anymore? Would you say?
So I remember you asking me in one of the questions earlier, like, when was it that you realized that you were a soccer player, like this is who you were, and like that's kind of what I thought my identity was, and I was confused when I wasn't able to play and be that soccer player, and especially after the second surgery, because at that point I was really like asking God, like why again, like you brought me to this place to play soccer, like you're just like you're not letting me stay healthy and then be that soccer player. So at that point I kind of had to take a step back and and talking to friends and family, and definitely helped me, and in realizing that that I'm sorry, that life is a lot more about soccer, and my identity isn't defined by how well I play a sport. And a great example of this, who I love, is, for example, like Scotty Scheffler. He's there every time they're interviewing him, after a win, or just asking him about like how good of a player is, and on all that. He always says that golf isn't the most important thing in his life. Like, golf is like third most importantly. When they ask him like, who are you, like, he doesn't say like, oh, I'm a golf player. He's first of all, he's a child of God, and that's his identity, and also he's a husband and a father, and then golf is third. And so it's just learning to realize that my identity is in Christ more so than soccer. And soccer is just a gift that God gave me, and I was very glad to enjoy it for as much as I did, and it helped me become who I am today, and learned a lot of lessons about life. Um, teach me a lot of great values, and um, it's definitely tough though, because life is so fragile. Soccer can be really your career can be real fragile, and so I think as people and as players, kind of we get kind of trapped in this uh, in this reality, this fake reality, that we're like, how important our life is, or how important we are as human beings, as players, is determined by how well we do on a Friday night game. And and a lot of people beat themselves up, like, you know really badly, if they have bad performances, or they can't perform, or they get cut from a team, and they let that really affect them. And I definitely was one that it used to affect me. But I think one of the main takeaways that I got from these surgeries, and from all this dealing with all this adversity, was that God was definitely trying to bring me closer to Him. Because when I was doing well, like, I kind of like had put Him aside, and wasn't going to church on Sundays, during my freshman year. Definitely, like, when I was having a good season, and uh, was kind of just living a life apart from Him. And um, definitely, you know, through this adversity, I was able to find Him again, and learn that I'm more than just a soccer player, and that my identity shouldn't be that I'm a soccer player, but more so that I should put my identity in Him, and that you know I can be successful doing whatever after this. So yeah.
One of my big values as a person, I feel like especially this year, I feel like I've learned this a lot. Like throughout all of like the awful, bad, terrible things that happen, there's always like good lights that like open from the bad things. Like whenever like it feels so dark, there'll eventually be a light in a direction you never ever thought that there would be a light in. And I feel
Yeah.
like that happens from you reaching like your lowest of lows like ever in your life.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, Coach Noonan once said you have a thirst and passion for the game that separates you. Where does that hunger come from, you would say?
I definitely say from my time in Italy. Just once I was there, I just had such a thirst and passion, like you said, for the game, where uh, I was just in the streets, always playing soccer, always, I was just always obsessed with the game, and could never like take a break from it, even after practice. Like, I would always be out with my friends, just kicking a ball on the beach, or um, be outside of church, like using like the wall as like a goal, like, and we were playing like 5v5 on the streets, and it was always a game that I just enjoyed so much, and um, I think that just helped me like separate from a normal, I guess not a normal player, but like it kind of helped me like raise my level to become the player that I am, and it just helped to elevate my game so much and just build that passion for who I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Noonan, how would you describe like Mike Noonan as a mentor and a coach? Because I feel like that's a good way of putting in a mentor as well.
Yeah, I definitely say he is more than just a coach in the sense like yes, he is also a mentor, and he is he is someone who really cares about how you are as a person more than just a soccer player, because he as well is a believer in Christ, and he knows that our identity is more than just being a soccer player, and that we are also students as well. We're not just college players or players, like we're also like student athletes. Um, and emphasizing the student, he emphasizes that a lot, and getting a degree is he emphasizes how important that is as well, and that's why I'm really proud of sticking through all 4 years and getting that degree, and um, he was super proud of me for that, and um, he was always sending text messages to me, and he still does. He still checks up on me, um, and so do all the other coaches. They're you know it's a good staff, um, and I think it starts with Noonan setting that foundation within the Clemson soccer team and getting the reputation that it has. Um, I think if you ask anyone really around campus, or a lot of people I've met, and they all like know that Noonan has set a true brotherhood standard and culture within the team, and it's not just a myth. Like, I mean, I was a part of it, and he is he is definitely one of the best coaches as well. Like when we talk about soccer, and he knows best at the end of the day. A lot of times like we doubted him as players and some of his decisions, but ultimately, um, his success speaks for himself. Like his recent success is probably yeah, definitely the best out of all the college coaches. So you got to give him great props for that. So mhm.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna move on into like your coaching aspects. Coached at Clemson camps and the extra mile program. What do you love about teaching the game to other players?
Yeah, so um, I definitely I started doing that more so this spring after I graduated, because right now I'm kind of taking a gap semester, trying to figure out what I want to do. But um, I still had the opportunity to train some kids that I knew, because I used to do the extra mile program before, and um, I've trained a few kids, and so I kind of stopped doing that last year. But then this year, I was able to reach out to the families that I knew and started like spreading the word around, and a lot more families are starting to hit me up, and I've kind of created like a circle of young players that are willing to learn and grow, and I think it's I what I love about it is just seeing these young kids that are just willing to learn so much from a player they look up to, someone who was at Clemson, and um, who enjoyed his, they kind of just look up to me as a player, and I'm like really grateful about that, and I love just giving back to them and helping them grow as players. And it's awesome to see kind of the progress. That's my main thing. I love just seeing like how far a kid comes from, the progress he makes every day, and just it's kind of awesome to see. Like one of my clients, I guess he posted like a Instagram video like on his story about like him at home like trying like this certain drill that I like taught him, and like him pulling it off and then scoring like on a goal. And he kind of like started posting like these highlight reels like on his story, and like it's funny to see like him like implementing everything I've taught him, and like becoming better and better at it. And it's just like that's like such like a satisfaction, like, and it's just like it just brings like kind of just joy to me, to my eyes. And it's awesome to see like just how far like someone can come, like, and just how much a person can grow, like. And that's just kind of the beauty of the game. Is just I mean, you're never going to be content where you are, and it's just you always have something to learn from someone. And um I think that's just the beauty of the game. And I like to give back to whoever I can. Um and so that's I kind of I've been enjoying doing this. And I'm not sure if like it's what I want to do for the rest of my life, coaching, but definitely right now is it's something that, it's a good I guess I guess it's like a part-time job for me right now, and it kind of, brings in income. But I do really enjoy doing it, and I don't really feel like it's a job right now. More so, I just enjoy doing it. So that's really good because, um, I mean, yeah, just it's something I enjoy. So,
Yeah. How has being injured changed the way you mentor younger players?
um, I mean, I don't know if it's changed anything necessarily, but I can definitely give them advice on especially a lot of players text me that they're going through injuries, and reach out to me saying they tore their ACL. Like maybe from that aspect, I can give insight to people that reach out to me saying they're going through something, and they have injured themselves and torn their ACL, and they're kind of like desperate or in a very low spot, and they don't know like how they're gonna turn this around. But and so they reach out to me, and I can kind of just tell them from experience, and just tell them that it's going to be all right. And I, like the main thing they can do is really just ultimately just work hard every day, and do PT and focus on the rehab, and not slack on that aspect. Because uh and if you do everything in your control, then you're going to be back. And there's many players that come back just fine. I mean, I'd say most players do eventually. And so yeah, that's more so like that. And I'd say from the players I train right now is just telling them, or at least just keeping them um or I guess keep in mind for them that soccer is fragile, life is fragile, and to just make the most of it, and to not be too stressed about like their performance. Because ultimately, um, this isn't everything for them in their life. Like there's a lot more to life than just their performance, or just their soccer career. So,
Yeah. Speaking of a lot more to life, for you, what does success look like for the next 5 years if you had to guess?
um, I mean, it's a great question because I've been kind of trying to think about that as well. Because I definitely been praying about like God wants me to do, or what he has in plan for me. And I think it's it's tough because like I mean I kind of have an idea of like some things I would like to do, but I do have still like a few different paths I could take or opportunities I or jobs I could pursue or and I'm kind of just I'm right now I'm a little struggling like to understand like where I need to go, which direction I need to take. So I'm still praying about that and kind of understanding. But I guess success would look like just me, you know, keeping up definitely a good having a good relationship with God and just, whatever path I take as long as I still have that relationship with him, like that's the most important thing. And then second, definitely have a job that is more so of something that I enjoy doing more so than a job. That was kind of whatever I do in life, I would like to enjoy it more so than it feeling like, like a job. So I think if you were to ask, like Mike Noonan, like what he does, I think he'd definitely tell you that what he does doesn't feel like complete, just like a job to him, and he actually enjoys waking up every morning, and has that excitement to go back and to work and to. So I definitely like to do something like that. So as long as you know, I'm enjoying what I do and the people around me, and I keep up, my faith and my relationship with Christ. That looks like success to me. So
Yeah. I have two more, but I have one more actually, but I wanted to throw this one in because you talk about your struggle and your relationship with God a lot. What would you say to other kids that are struggling with their relationship in God and have gone through so many hardships like you have?
I would definitely just say to trust in Him no matter what, and that a lot of times, you may doubt His plan for you, and a lot of times His plan looks different from what your plan may have you may have thought it looked like, but ultimately, God is God, and God knows best, um, and you also just need to realize that life is very fragile, and that you have to keep your relationship with Him much stronger than, and you can't keep that fragile as well, because if you keep your relationship with God kind of just on the edge, and you're just and you keep that fragile as well, then you don't really have anything that's like strong and consistent in your life, and something that you can fall back on, and so having God that you can fall back on God, and He's going to always be there for you. And so I think it's just important to keep Him as your priority, and everything else you do is just for His glory. And so if you do something good, just have Him, keep Him with you through the good times and through the bad. And so a lot of times we get caught up in kind of just maybe just going back to God when things are going bad, or the opposite when things are going good. Then you're like, oh, like thank you God. But when things are going bad, then you're like, oh, like screw you. But you know, I think is learning to find that balance, and to keeping Him in mind when things are going well and when things are going bad, uh, as well, is to glorify Him through everything. So um, yeah, I'd say that's the main thing.
And then I just have one more question before we do our concluding statements. How do you want people to remember Marco Garcia?
Um, definitely as someone who, um, I guess, being remembered as someone who never gave up, and someone who worked hard, who was a leader off, on the field, but as well as off the field, and someone who just brought joy to the locker room, and even through all the negative experiences I had and all the trials and adversity I faced with, I still showed up, brought the positive energy to the team, um, and just tried my best to help with the success of the team no matter what. And so I think just someone that, as a player, if you come in and if you're dealing with adversity or dealing with, uh, you know, an injury or whatever, that the coaches may point out to me as an example of someone who went through that trial and that adversity, and that, um, and as someone that they can, say I was a good example of living through that adversity and still showing up and being a positive influence for my teammates. And so, um, hopefully the coaches speak to me as that, because we have we've had a couple examples where coach talks about like Nolan Lennon, a guy who had 3 ACL surgeries, but he was, his senior year, he was a captain on the team just because of how good of a leader he was, and still such a positive figure within the team. And so if I can be compared to anything like that, it's definitely how I want to be remembered. And that's, yeah.
I would first of all, I would like to thank you for being on and being so vulnerable with your story. I think you put a lot of detail into everything you said, and not a lot of people, I would say, could do that. It's their option to do that, and I think you did, and I would like to thank you for that. And just if you want to say anything to people at home, plug yourself, say some stuff that you do, or just like send a message. Now's your time to do that.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Drew. I mean, you asked the right questions. You definitely did your research. Um, I think that's not easy to do. I mean, obviously, some of the information is out there on the internet, but it seemed like you you actually like knew everything about me, which is a little scary, but nah. I mean, uh, but yeah, no, I appreciate you. Keep it up, whatever you're doing right now, the podcast, and I mean, just keep up your passion. I know that it seems like you got a passion for for podcasts, for speaking, for writing, and yeah, honestly, I respect that, because I mean, I'm a sports comm major as well, and you know, I was thinking about maybe doing that, but definitely was a bit busy with soccer and all that. But it's definitely something that, never know, could come up in the future. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, thanks for having me. That's all I've got for my part. Um, but yeah, thanks again for having me. And
Of course, thank you guys for watching at home as well. And I hope everyone has a safe night tonight.